Hey, nice seeing you.
What's cracking? You doing okay?
I'm doing fine. What about you?
Oh, well, you know how it is. Little this, little that.
I was expecting you will be in some sort of a jungle to make this interview.
In a jungle, well, what do you call this?
Well, I was right, man. That's a killer view. That's a killer view. So, the decision to write the book, The 12 Laws of the Jungle, you took that decision before the COVID took over.
Just before COVID hit, yeah.
So, how difficult was to keep working while you had all this fresh hell?
The entire period was quite difficult, but the interesting thing about writing the book while going through the entire COVID lockdown nightmare was that it was almost therapeutic for me
Mm-hmm.
because, we were really just discussing real time occurrences and transactions and issues and problems that we were solving in real time as a team, as our business leadership team. And then, like at nighttime or periodically throughout the week, I would have conversations with my co-author, Matthew Cartagena, and we would discuss the things that had transpired, and we would boil that down into, okay, is this part of an actual consistent law or principle of entrepreneurship? Is this a regular problem that happens to regular entrepreneurs? And how can what you're dealing with right now be transferred to other entrepreneurs who have likely or will likely be wrestling with similar circumstances in their own journey?
Yeah, and the way you have written the book, I believe Matthew played an important role, right? To keep working on the book, man. Don't stop.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Matt was an essential part of the writing process. Of course, he did a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the grammatical structuring and things like that. I mean, if you're going to write a book, you really need to be writing every single day. If you're going to sit down and write a book by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's if you're writing a book, you're writing a book. You're not running a business. And I don't know many entrepreneurs who could do both at the same time, because there's a lot that goes into writing a book and getting the phase one content down and then editing and going back and structuring everything and coming up with a project plan and all that kind of stuff. Whereas normally as a busy entrepreneur, you're focused on keeping your business alive, which is always the priority. So I do know some entrepreneurs who write their own books, but not very many. Most of them have help from somebody who's
Right.
digesting the intellectual property, the IP or the content from the entrepreneur, putting it down, because they're basically unpacking the genius, so to speak, and that's what Matt's company is named, Unpack Genius.
Yeah.
So it's his job to get into my head and pull out the knowledge that I have and the experiences that I have, and it's his job to put that into a digestible format for other entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs to transfer into their own struggles
Mm-hmm.
in their own business journeys.
And did you have in your mind that I will write 12 laws, or you kept writing and you said at some point, well, we are getting there, so let's put one law per chapter?
No, I created the framework. I wrote down the laws that I thought were most important, and I had a basic overview of each law. So that came straight from me. And then as we got into the actual content, each one of those laws, Matt helped me to build out the framework and build out the content and put them into uh, sections and subsections and things like that in an organized and digestible way. But yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily choose the number 12 for any main reason. I just wrote out what I thought. And I thought, after I wrote out, I might have written, say, 15, and some of them fit within other ones. So it just boiled down to 12. I thought, hey, 12 is a nice number as well. So why not?
So
some people criticized me because they thought it would be better as a metalhead to have 13 laws of the jungle.
Well, I will say 666, but I cannot believe that you will be able to come up with so many laws, right?
Yeah.
However, going through the process of documenting every step and writing stuff about, not step, law, every law, did that process help you to better organize your own plan for your own enterprise?
Yes, absolutely. And it still does to date. Just being able to define, it's kind of like writing a journal. You can have the same thought circulating in your mind over and over and over again, but until you actually write it down on a piece of paper and really define it, then you can't really process it. Right. So having these laws and principles explained and defined and written down into a comprehensive, digestible format, they were all just part of an operating system that I really didn't define personally. But now that it is defined and it's on paper, there have been many cases since then and during that entire time where I remember my own advice and I'm like, okay, well, that's law 6 or that's law 3 or that's law 12, and not forget those things. If your business is going good, don't get too cocky. Remember law 12, prepare for winter. Winter is coming. If you're, like there's just several things where, if you're having an argument with someone you're working with, remember that you are nothing without your team, so yes. to let the village eat first, right? Mm-hmm. Don't get too cocky about things. Don't let those relationships fall to the wayside because you must have those relationships in order to succeed. Just things like that where, sometimes I find myself slipping, but then I remember a very simple law 2, law 4, law 6, law 10, law 8, law 11, right? And that kind of keeps me on point right now. And that's why I think that this book has actually got some value to it because I apply it to my own business journey going forward as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it keeps you in line and it's practice what you preach. If you don't follow what you have written, then either you were faking it or it's not applicable.
Exactly, yeah. And right? Who wants to do any of those things? That's just a waste of time.
Although I'm not an entrepreneur and I don't think at this age I can become one.
Why not?
I'm 48 now.
So?
I don't know. I think I've read in your book something about the age. I'm not sure. I may be wrong on this. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's not for me. So...
Man, I'm starting a heavy metal band right now at 41, and I'm thinking of, okay, I've got 20 years to build this thing and 20 years to rock and roll. And that's like on stage rocking and rolling. My dad works with me, and he is almost 70 years old, and he's still going strong, man. 48 is not too late to start a business. You can
no, it's not. Yes. I was trying to get some inspirational speech from you. But on the other hand, do you have the eye, let's say, to see if a person has the guts, has the whatever it takes to become an entrepreneur? Can you say that just by meeting someone?
Well, I think there are some naturals and some people who need a motivating event in their lives. I don't know if it's something that can be entirely taught or encouraged. So usually, okay, there's naturals, right? There's natural entrepreneurs. And those people are just like the people that grow up, in public school, setting up lemonade stands or whatever, and have a natural born inclination to sell things, to relate with people, to make connections, to build themselves up, to always be networking, things like that. Those people are naturals. Other people, such as myself, experience some kind of an event or an epiphany where they just at one point in their lives just got utterly disgusted with themselves for being in such a low point in their lives, or just utterly tired of being slaves to a boss or slaves to a system or something like that. And then those people learn how to become entrepreneurs. And then I think, like, you know, the third category of, like, can you teach someone to become an entrepreneur? I don't know if you actually can. I like what Elon Musk said when he responded to that question. Someone asked him in an interview, and I paraphrase, like, if someone thinks they might be able to be an entrepreneur, like, what would you say to them to encourage them, or something like that? Or what would you say to encourage someone to be an entrepreneur? And he says, if you need to ask that question, don't do it.
Don't do it, yeah.
Because it's like, it becomes so absolutely difficult at times, and just, you must have a killer instinct, because your back's going to be against the wall, and and there's different levels of entrepreneurship, right? Like, anybody who's self-employed is kind of technically an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur, you're running a podcast. Anyone who's taken their skill set and begun to monetize it in a certain way where they don't work for anyone else, they're basically in charge of their own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
You eat what you kill. If you don't make sales, if you don't get views, if you don't get any traction with what you're doing, then nobody's paying you to do it. You're not working on an hourly wage kind of thing, So there's that level, which is just basic self-sustainability. And then, there's another level when you have other people's necks on the line, where you have a significant amount of money you've invested, or other people's money, which is very stressful. When you have people, most entrepreneurs start with friends and family investing in their business. So when you have your friends and family, people you care about, invest in your business, and you're in charge of that, you're going to fight tooth and nail to protect that, because those relationships and those people are important to you. So, there's that kind of level where it becomes bigger than just yourself. And then there's the level that's just ridiculously huge, like an Elon Musk, where you've got single-handedly, like, building up or reinvigorating the electric car industry of the entire planet, building reusable rockets to take people from, this planet to other planets, fixing social media, all these different things, where it becomes much bigger than just anybody's money. It's like, it's a movement. It's revolutionizing the world kind of thing. Right. So,
right. However, may I interrupt you here? So, as you describe that, as I hear you, do I have to become to that level to be considered as an entrepreneur? No, there are different levels, right? Yeah. I can be successful without changing the entire planet.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, I think, like, it's borderline if you're self-employed. So if you're just like one person, you're an entrepreneur because you're starting things, you're building things, you're running things. I'm just saying that the more people that get added into your program, the more complex and difficult it gets.
Yeah.
And it goes up to that like global scale kind of entrepreneur that's just complete next level. Very few people can do that.
Right. In the fifth law, you say, and I'm reading, right? If you want to check out and relax from life, then you should not become an entrepreneur. So I'm thinking, well, you have to relax to enjoy what you have built at some point, right? So am I reading this correctly? You have to keep fighting the next thing.
No.
Is the chase better than the cats?
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm relaxed right now, right? I'm relaxed now, but at the same time, I've had several very difficult conversations today. The objective is to keep the entity alive. Your business becomes a living, breathing entity. And when you have dozens of other people or hundreds of other people who keep that thing alive, it becomes bigger than you. So, you can check out, you can relax. You have other people who are managing the different things. So there's a lot of times where I don't actually put that many hours into my business now. Mm-hmm. I put really important hours into it, like maybe 5 or 10 really important hours a week where critical decisions get made. But I enjoy my downtime, and I think that's a good goal to have. The key aspect is that getting there is very difficult. It might take 1 year, it might take 3 years, might take 5 years, might take 7 years. And you just have to be ready to commit to all of that time, no matter how long it takes, no matter how stressful it gets, no matter how much it begins to hurt. You must just continue pushing ahead. And then you get to a certain point where, okay, I differentiate it between wartime and peacetime. So when you're in a wartime, you're in growth phase, you're in the red zone, you have a lot of threats, you're just barely holding everything together, you're trying to find people to work for you. And then eventually at some point you reach peacetime, which is you got lots of people who want to work with you, your mailing list is strong, you've got tons of repeat customers, every single month you've got consistency, you've got people willing to come and spend their money in your organization, you've got the right network and influences and connections, and you can pretty much just chill a little bit and be stable. Doesn't mean you can't completely take your eye off the ball, because if you do that, you're likely to miss that sidewinder missile that's coming in from somewhere you're not anticipating. So at that point, it's your job to just really survey the landscape and keep an eye on everything, and then make adjustments as needed. But you don't necessarily need to be stressed out and always trying to create something else and grow. And that's really up to each individual. We as an organization, I like to grow things. So I'm working on growing the band right now, and also with our business. It's like, okay, we could, if we really wanted to push it, we kind of have 3 options. One option is just totally cruise with what we're doing right now and just live a nice and easy life, and just tighten the purse strings a little bit, make sure the profitability's there with the same top line, and just cruise and relax, and everybody comes in and works and punches the time clock and away they go. The third option is go right back to the growth wartime red zone, just push, take what we have now and grow it and scale and get more investment and put more people's money in the line and build more centers and grow the infrastructure, and that's very nerve-wracking and very stressful. And then there's the second option, which we're kind of taking right now, which is right in between those two things, where it's we're growing, but we're doing it at a pace that's still fairly relaxing. That's not too crazy, where we're not burning out our people, where we don't need to go on crazy hiring blitzes and everything like that. So, it's kind of really up to the individual. Some people are just addicted to growth, right? Some people are addicted to the red zone. You want to be and some people have ambitions where it's just beyond having a lifestyle or serving a mission. It's I want to be the biggest X in the Y. They have this vision of themselves. They're mad. They're crazy, right? They need to be the biggest. And they wake up every morning, they live, breathe, and sleep their business. Those are the guys who are waking up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, hitting the gym before they get to work at 7 in the morning. Then they're working till 7 p.m. Then they're having some dinner meetings after that. They're getting home at 11 p.m. They're sleeping until 4 or 5 in the morning. They're getting up and they're doing it all over again, right?
That's not life, man. Come on.
But they don't do it. They do it because they love that, right? That's thrilling for them. So for them, it is life. And they just, those type of people would not be happy living a relaxed, chill life where they go to work at, get there at 9, come home at 4, watch some Netflix, play some video games, go to bed at 8 in the morning, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or watch some Netflix at night and then get up and do that. Those people just can't do that, right? Mm-hmm. There's just different classes of people as they are naturally. And I think there's some, if somebody feels a calling one way or the other, you can kind of push yourself a little bit in that direction, but there's certain innate genetic or dispositional classes of people, I guess you could say, when it comes to what their output, what do they want from life. Some people appreciate just having a relaxed, chill life. Most people are like that. Other people want to have an emotional, relaxed, and chill life, but also have enough money to really enjoy a different kind of level of existence. And those people will usually have to push themselves to, through a few years of difficulty to get there. And then there are other people who just ride the wave every single day, just the crest, like go, 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 because that's just who they are. Extroverted, hardworking, full of energy. And they just have this vision of themselves where it's like, fuck, I got to be that guy,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
they're just, it's a bit of a spectrum.
But if you do that, you won't have time for metal. So I have to ask about Sava's existence. I know that you have finished the second album, or are you close to?
Oh yeah. We're in the middle of launching it already.
So it's done?
Oh yeah. We had our second album done like early, about a year ago. And we've been strategically, just kind of waiting on the right way to release and distribute it. And so that's currently underway right now.
Are you shopping for a record deal?
Oh, we've got one. So we're with Rivet Records, which is a portal to the Sony Orchard distribution platform. So that's been very helpful. They're helping us with the distribution, marketing, getting it all out there and everything like that. So yeah, it's been going really well.
Are you planning to release that on vinyl too?
Oh yes, yeah. We've got vinyl, probably CD and cassette, just for the hell of it. You've got to have like the old school
Sure,
stuff,
yeah.
right? So yeah, that's all underway. It's all coming along very well. And we're just talking about it day in and day out, trying to figure it out, getting our release schedule on point. The full album will be out April 28th, and we're going to be on tour in Europe at that time.
The US? What about the US?
We will be in US later this year at some point, yeah.
Have you considered for the next step maybe writing a book and adjust it to metal bands? Because really, the scenery has changed so much, especially after the pandemic. The entire scene has changed so much. Have you considered doing something tailored to the music business?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I've got a couple of ideas, which I've started kind of documenting the journey for the next book. But the thing about books these days is like nobody reads books.
I hate it, but I agree.
It's a lot of work to make a book. It's a lot of work to distribute a book, and then it's hard to get anyone to actually buy a book and read a book. The same amount of content that is in the book that I just made could probably be done in 12 laws, like 12 10-minute YouTube fucking clips. You know what I mean? So it's like, and people much rather watch YouTube. And then if you're going to write a book and market a book, you need to have a following, which you only get from sharing content on YouTube and shit. So it's like, if you're getting, it's, people just want the content right now, current, right here, right then and there. For the amount of time it takes to take the same conversation you might have in a 1-hour YouTube clip, turn it into a chapter of a book, get someone to do all the editing and shit, and the publishing, and then blah, 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 and then nobody reads it. It's like, books are just kind of a thing of the past, to be honest.
Maybe, but I have been studying a long time in my life, and I think that reading actually, even not digitally, even having the actual book in your hands, you learn better, you digest better. But it may be my old mind speaking. I
totally agree with you. I'm just reflecting on the way society.
I agree, and I hope no one will stop reading books. Nobody will. I think we will forget writing with a pen and paper at some point.
Man, my penmanship has just gotten terrible over the years. Like, jeez. I haven't written more than a paragraph in ages.
Daniel, thank you very much for your time. I liked your book. Even I'm not. I got a lot of things from that. I will give you that. That's 100%, especially the part with the snake bites. I mean, you don't have to have a business to experience snake bites by people who you were thinking that you were close to, right?
Well, I mean, really, every one of us, we're our own business, right? Like we run our lives that we're our own business.
Yes.
We have our revenue, we have our expenses, we have our partnerships and our relationships, we have our goals and our interests and our dreams, and we have to watch out for the snakes in the grass as well. You never know where they're going to come from. You got to be a little bit skeptical of people, whether that's a salesman, whether that's a girl, whether that's one of your buddies, maybe one of your buddies who wants your girl, and you also have to save for a rainy day, right? So it's applicable to anyone really in life that's managing their own life in an independent way, or managing your own projects, or managing a wider team of a multitude of different people trying to accomplish an impossible goal against the deadline.
I agree. It's a guide to survive everyone's personal jungle. Okay, man. Thank you. Have the best success with the band, and looking forward to see the band touring the US.
Thank you, brother. Stay metal.
You too. Bye-bye.